Hi guys, this is Tracy with Inside Pool Magazine. Well, I'm at it again. I found another junior, this time out of the state of Ohio. While Nick's off in Sacramento doing what Nick does, I'm going to be holding down the fort tonight. So, coming up next, we have a young gun, like I said, coming out of the state of Ohio. His name is Luke Carey. I'm going to run his promo video. Guys, this kid is amazing. Check this out. Hi, welcome back, guys. Luke, would you like to introduce yourself? Give us your age and where you're from.
Hi, my name's Luke Carey. I'm 14 years old and I'm from Worcester, Ohio.
And where is that near? Let's see. I think the only place I've been in Ohio is probably Cleveland. How far are you from Cleveland?
So we're basically Worcester falls right in the middle between Cleveland and Columbus.
Okay.
So we're about 50 miles south of Cleveland.
Okay, so you're probably closer to me versus closer than anywhere else. Then you're probably right there on the very edge. Awesome.
Sure.
Do you guys how is the pool scene in that area for the juniors in particular?
I think the junior pool scene here isn't spectacular, but we just started playing a year and a half ago. I played a lot when I was a kid and then just picked it back up, which is how I got him into it. But so I never played a lot of any junior pool, anything like that. So we're kind of still learning. But there's a lot of really strong players in the area between Canton and Mansfield, Columbus, Cleveland. There's a lot of really strong players.
So the only way really he's getting any junior exposure is if you guys are traveling to these junior events.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what we're trying to work on, and the whole reason why I started this campaign was to try to get each state to step up for their junior players, because it's extremely important for our juniors to be able to play against each other. It's cool to play against the adults, but I feel personally that they play harder when they're playing against each other. They're just more driven when they're playing each other. Well,
Yeah.
let's dive in and get to know Luke just a little bit. So Luke, you've been playing, I believe you said about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And what is your goals for playing pool?
My goals is to one day make it to the Moscone. I definitely want to play against some really good players, like some of the best top juniors in the country. I feel like that would be really fun to do. And yeah, pretty much just, yeah.
Nice. And this junior has an impressive Fargo for only playing around a year and a half. Luke, what's that Fargo rating that you have right now?
A 544.
And what is your robustness? Do you know?
So I've played a bunch of tournaments that didn't really put it into Fargo, into Fargo. So I only have like 20 or so, but
okay.
Yeah.
Only 20, that's impressive. 544, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Dad over there had something to do with that.
he played in a tournament with some really strong players and wound up winning a bunch of matches, and his Fargo just shot through the roof.
Congrats. I had a young lady out of I can't remember exactly what state she was in, but how this all got started is she was 9. And I was reading a group post, one of these groups that I was in, and there was this gentleman complaining about this shark that came into play in one of their tournaments. Come to find out, it's a 9-year-old girl, and I was like, I want to talk to her. And little Miss Jordan has done very well for herself in the juniors sector. So I look forward to seeing your name on a couple of those trophies. Speaking of trophies, don't you have a couple of wins there, Luke?
Yeah, I got second place in the Junior VNEA Championship in Wapakoneta, Ohio. And then I got fourth place in the male minors. And then I think I've gotten like 5th or 6th in a couple Friday tournaments, but at my local pool hall.
Impressive. Now we will be hosting a Battle of the Junior Champions qualifier in Missouri. I think that's the closest one to you. So if you get that opportunity, I'd head out that way. I'll also be doing I do these little tiny challenge matches online. So since you have a table at home, if you would like to join us, we'd love to have you. And it will be for a seat on one of those teams. And we're pulling some Canadians as well, because they can't quite get down here, but they would love to be able to play against some of you guys as well. So I look forward to seeing your name on one of those little plaques.
Yeah.
All right, let's get down to it. Let's ask Luke some more questions. We'll also be taking questions from the audience. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so what is your favorite game other than 9-ball and 8-ball?
I really like straight pool, and I like also to play one pocket.
One pocket player. There is something about you guys out of that area. We really don't play a whole lot of one pocket in the South, especially the juniors. So that's very impressive. And that obviously has made your game extremely, you're leveling up quite quickly playing straight pool, especially. Do you play straight pool as well, sir?
I haven't played much straight pool. I mean, I did years ago. And one pocket, I've played very little one pocket. It's all kind of new. I mean, people were playing it, but I just never really got into it. And I quit playing for 20 years. So I just started back at the same time he started playing with me.
Okay. All right. I never picked up the one pocket myself. That was just something I never could get the hang of it. For some reason, it just bored me to tears, but I love to watch the pros play. I mean, and to listen to them explain the game. It's amazing. I have a question out here for you. I have Pool Striker in the building. Thank you for joining us tonight, Pool Striker. He wants to know, do you do any trick shots?
I don't know if you would call banks a trick shot, but I like banking and jumping.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. And let's get down to some more questions. And you said, let's see, who has been your biggest motivator or support system?
My biggest motivator was definitely my parents, my stepdad, and my mom. They've definitely helped me go to tournaments and stuff. And then also, I want to shout out Ed Hancock from Buckeye Billiards, getting me qualified for the junior VNA. He's just a really good guy at the pool hall. So definitely.
Awesome. Thanks for the plug. Hello to our people coming through. And does Inside Pool still make a magazine? We'll be having our first large magazine will be put out here in a few months. I don't have an exact date, but thank you for joining us tonight. And thank you for the question. And moving on, what is in your case, Luke?
In my case, I have a Predator glove. I have my break cue, and then break/jump, and then I have my normal cue. I have talum chalk, and then my chalk holder. And then I think I have like an extra glove, and just like the normal like pool type of things you need.
Right, your everyday things, your necessities, kind of like a woman's purse. Do you have a favorite professional player?
Definitely Shane Van Boning for me.
And could you tell us why?
I just like that he was born deaf, and he shoots really good. I feel like he's always nice to his opponents, and he shows good sportsmanship to the other players he plays.
All right, Tiny Home Living Magazine would like to know, what kind of pool cue do you play with, and are you sponsored at the moment?
I play with a player's cue. Right?
It's a Shone.
Oh yeah, well my old cue is a player's, but now I play with a Shone, and now I don't have any sponsors yet.
Okay, but we are looking for sponsors. So if there's anyone out there in the internet world, contact me. I'll get you in touch with his parents, and then we can see what we can do about getting some sponsorship going on for Mr. Luke. And Pool Striker would like to know, do you want to play pool as your profession?
Yeah, I'd love to, but I know it's a really hard sport to get into just because it's not as popular as, like, say, football or something.
Right.
But like the top of the top can definitely play it as a profession. That's what I want to do. So
Cool, cool. Right now, Pool Striker, he is wanting to go to college to be, could you repeat that?
an aerospace engineer.
He's got high dreams, and we are definitely supporting him. And let's see, what has been your biggest accomplishment in pool so far?
My biggest accomplishment, I got to play against Eddie Hancock, which is the owner of the pool hall I play at. He has a 700 Fargo, and then I got second place in the junior VNEA, and then fourth. And it was two different events for that weekend, and
Right.
I got second and fourth. So I think that's pretty cool.
Nice. And moving on along, what has been your biggest lesson so far?
My biggest lesson is like try to keep your emotions like out of the table, like try to control your emotions when you're playing other people, because they can definitely sense a weakness when you show your emotions, and it also makes it so you start playing worse.
Well, Mr. George Payne is in the building, and this gentleman right here is what got this diva started in all of this. So you can thank Mr. Payne for that.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on along. What is one tournament you would like to attend and why?
One tournament I'd like to attend is probably the BEF Junior Nationals, which I think happened like a couple weeks ago. There's a lot of good competition that I'd want to play, like Payne McBride and Joey Tate and all them, and I know they normally go to it. So I think that'd be really cool to go.
I think you would have a good time, actually. I think you would love it.
Mm-hmm.
And Tiny Home Living Magazine wants to know who coaches you and who is teaching you currently. I believe
probably I went to D. Adkins for like one training lesson before, and I think that helps me with like my stance and stuff, and then also my stepdad, which is where I got most of my stuff from.
D. Atkins is an amazing man. He is extremely dedicated to the juniors, and he has done a lot for the junior players. So you couldn't ask for a better man. If you get the opportunity, and Joey Gray is anywhere in your area, I highly recommend taking a clinic with Joey. He does something magical with the juniors. I'm not quite sure how he gets in their head, but he knows exactly what to say and how to get there, especially when it comes to that mental stamina. For me personally, I was told one time by a professional player, you get 30 seconds to have your come apart, you take a deep breath, and you get back on that table like nothing happened. That's probably the best advice I was ever given.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And we have another one. How many hours a day or a week do you practice?
So it really depends. Like, since I have school now going on, so I don't really get to play as much. But during the summer, I practiced a lot. But so I'd say I probably practice at least an hour a day. But sometimes, like Mondays and Thursdays, sometimes I'll probably play for at least 3 or 4 hours. And then depends on the weekends. If we go to a tournament, I'll be playing for like 6 or 7 hours. So.
And you're currently on a league, is that correct? A pool league?
Mm-mm.
You're not playing pool league.
No, not currently.
Do they have a pool league in your area for him?
Yeah, they're doing he did the junior VNEA over at Buckeye Billiards, our local pool hall, which is how he got qualified for the Ohio Junior VNEA Championships, Wapakoneta. And they're doing that again starting up in
September.
It's like a few weeks, maybe a month out, and they'll do it's a session every Sunday, gets you qualified for 8-ball and 9-ball and the VNEA stuff. It's not a league per se like a regular adult league would be, but the next session of singles league, I'll probably get him involved with that for the next session. We're already over halfway through this one.
Right. Okay. All right. What are the rules for the junior players in your area? Do you know what they are? I mean, of allowing our juniors, under a certain age into a pool hall here in our, I live in an area called Huntsville, Alabama, which is North Alabama. And it is a liquor law and also a smoking ordinance that is prohibiting our juniors from coming into our pool rooms because technically they're bars and not necessarily your old school pool room. Do you guys have that same issue? Oh, I'm sorry. I cut out.
Yeah, we got disconnected.
We got disconnected.
Oh, okay. Basically, what I was wondering is,
so
what are the laws allowing
where we left off at?
What are the laws allowing the juniors into the pool rooms where you live?
You know, I mean, the pool halls, I believe as long as he's accompanied by an adult, you know, a guardian or adult, then I believe it's fine.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I don't think minors can sit at a bar or anything like that.
Right.
But,
I mean, the obvious.
The local pool halls are really cool. I mean, there's other young kids that do show up on occasion to come and play. And,
okay. So it's a little more lenient than what it's like where I'm from. So that's what I was curious to see what I can get stirred up in Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't, the places that we've went so far, nobody's gave us any static about it. Everybody's been very accepting.
Great. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. And we have another question. Pool Striker wants to know, why did you begin playing pool?
I began playing pool because obviously, as we said before, my stepdad first started playing again, and then he got me into it, and then I really I had like a pure stroke, and I was just already kind of like a natural, and then I just kind of picked off where he showed me some stuff that he had known from 20 years ago, and then I just kind of fell right into place.
So when he walked up to the table the first time he did this, and you noticed his stroke was dead on, what went through your mind when you saw him make that first ball?
I just knew that he had a really good stroke. He was natural. It wasn't like herky jerky or anything. I mean, he just walked up and it was kind of natural. I mean, obviously the angles and everything, some people can just see them. I was kind of that way, and I feel like, you know, I showed him a few things and then he just ran with it. And so then we'd do a lot of sparring and stuff, and, you know, back and forth. We played a lot in the last year and a half.
Okay.
So he's got to see me, and I'm not spectacular, but I shoot well. And we take him over to the Buckeye Billiards he's referred to, and Ed Hancock he's an extremely good player, and he loves helping the kids. So he'll come over and give us pointers on things, you know, help really fine tune some of the things that I don't know that he does.
Awesome. Great. That's fantastic. Let's see. Let's keep moving on along. After high school, do you intend on furthering your education? And I believe we already covered that.
Yeah.
When Mr. Stryker asked earlier. So we will go on to the next one. So how have you handled the pressures in these events, especially the VNEA? When you were there, how did you handle the pressure when you were getting there towards the end, mentally especially?
So at first I was really nervous when I first got into the tournament because I know there's going to be some good players. And I was just like, you know, shaking and stuff like that. And then I finally calmed down after, like, you know, kind of like talking to myself. And I'm like, yeah, you're a good player. You can do it. And then once I got to the second place, that's when I was like, I got it. And then I unfortunately rattled the ball. And yeah, but it was hill that for first place, it was hill.
Okay. But you got the second, so that's pretty impressive. And you'll take it down the next time now that you know. Mm-hmm. What about physically? Do you feel like he's handling that very well? I mean, some of these venues, they will go until like early in the morning on some of these tournaments. Is he physically able to handle that?
Oh yeah, I'd say so. It's the mental side that really, I think for me, physically, I can handle a 16-hour day of pool, but mentally, I mean, after so many matches, especially if you're grinding,
right.
you know, all day, it wears you out. That's for sure.
Okay.
He hasn't had to endure the, you know, 16-hour pool day yet.
Right. Not yet anyway.
No, but he's had some long days, and he's done well. So I think he can handle it.
Some of those can get, I mean, I was at Derby City and the 9-ball event, literally Federer was falling asleep in his chair.
Yeah, we
It
saw
didn't
some
end
highlights from it.
Right. It didn't end until like 7 or 8 o'clock the next Monday morning. It's brutal, but that's
Yeah.
part of it. You have to love the game in order to stick it out. So I have a feeling I don't have a quitter here tonight.
No, nope, he's not a quitter.
What other hobbies do you have, Luke, besides playing pool?
Like I said before, I like pool is the main, but I also like playing video games. You know, hanging out with friends, watching movies, stuff like that. Just like
Doing
normal
the
kid
typical
stuff.
teenage stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Moving on along. Do you feel that the junior players have the support that they need?
It just really depends where you're at. Like for like where I'm at, I feel like we do because we have the guy, of course, the guy that owns Buckeye. He's a really good player, so he definitely helps the juniors with all the stuff they need and stuff like that. And at the end of the year, he gave us like some chalks and some stuff like that, just some chalker holders and stuff like that to help out the kids, like gloves and stuff like that. So
cool, very cool. I like that. I'll have to get to Buckeye. I've heard a lot about it tonight. I'll have to make a trip to Ohio.
It's a very nice little hall.
I've been to I went to Kentucky a couple of months ago because a gentleman had started a league out of his venue because he felt like the kids didn't have enough places to play. So I made a trip up to Kentucky, and we had an amazing 4 or 5 hours. So I'll have to see what I can do about getting up to Ohio and checking out that pool room. I love to visit new pool rooms. That's my thing. I started writing for Inside Pool Magazine, technically about the pool rooms. Every room is something different, and you always find that golden chalice in one. So, and finding the junior players has been my golden chalice here lately. Let's see here, Luke. We only have a couple of more questions for you. What advice would you give to newcomers to the game of billiards?
I would give advice like, whatever, to find as much time as you can when you have the opportunity to play as much as you can so you can definitely get better. Because I know some people that don't own tables. So, like, when you're at a pool hall with, like, say, your dad or something, try to practice as much as you can. And for everybody, you always get frustrated at times. So just try to keep that frustration cool and just, keep playing.
Good advice. Fantastic advice. Keep sticking it out. Nothing is easy in life, ever. You have to work at some stuff.
Right.
Now, granted, some of us have natural abilities, but those of us that don't, we work a little harder. But it all pays off in the end, right? Okay. If you could fast forward 10 years, where do you see yourself, Luke?
I see myself, I definitely want to play in the Moscone Cup. I definitely want to keep playing pool, and I want to have a really good job. And I probably, and once I want to help like other juniors with the game and try to get more people involved in it and try to get more known as a sport.
Okay. Well, you're doing a fantastic job tonight, and we thank you. We really do. Well, that goes to say the next big question. I ask every junior player the same question. If I was to get a big bag of money, say $50,000, and in small bills, so that we don't get taxed on it. And I could hand it to you and say, I want you to spend this money, but you cannot spend it on yourself. You have to give it back to the community some way within the billiards industry. What would you do with that $50,000?
I would go to like a town where there's not much of pool halls, and I'd try to open up a pool hall, and I'd try to buy, like kind of like pretty good like 2x2 pool cases, and try to buy some wooden shaft and some cues for kids and gloves like that, and try to give them away to kids that may not have that type of stuff, and try to open up a pool hall.
Awesome. Great answer. I like it. We have a couple more questions from the audience. Yes, he does, Mr. Payne. He does answer the questions like a champion. He's well on his way there. I'm not spooking him at all. And we have another question from Tiny Home Living Magazine. Have you ever completed a BEF junior tournament?
So far not yet, but I definitely want to in the future though.
Okay. That's fantastic. So, is there anything else that we haven't discussed that you would like to share with the audience? What's your
I
next
also
tournament? How about
what'd
that?
you say?
When is your next tournament? Do you have anything planned?
What would be
Probably Friday.
Probably. So there's like a weekly tournament at Buckeye, and they also have like some Saturday tournaments. So most of the time we try to make it to the Friday tournaments for their weekly ones. Because those are really fun. And I also want to give some more shout outs to some people. I want to give a shout out to Wade Darr and Chris Clark for my stepdad's buddies that showing me stuff and always being nice to me and stuff like that.
Fantastic. I love it. I love it. So, I mentioned to you before that I will be doing an online competition for a seat on the Junior Moscone Cup. So hopefully I'll see your name written somewhere in one of those little sections if you can't get to one of our actual qualifiers. What I was planning on doing is doing a ghost challenge. You'll have 30 minutes to make run as many racks as you can. And the person with the highest run will win for that month. Then in December, we'll have a playoff. Sound fun?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you win, you get to be put into a pool where Priscilla Kinsley, Joey Tate, and Landon Hollingsworth will pick their juniors for their teams. Team Hess will be back to defend their crown. And our captains will be saying bye-bye because this will be their last year attending. So, except for obviously Skylar Hess, and I think Priscilla Kinsley has another year left. But I hope to see you on that roster.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's been fantastic. I don't want to hold you guys up any longer. I know you've got a lot of things going on, but I do appreciate you coming out tonight and hanging out with us for a little bit. And thank you to everyone who came out and asked him some questions because that helps our interview go a little smoother. So he's going to give one more shout out to all of his friends and family before we log off. And thanks so much, guys, for watching. Go ahead, Luke. Take it away.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. You want to say hi to anybody? Don't forget Mom.
Yeah, don't forget Mom.
I'll say shout out to Mom for taking me to the tournaments and having to deal with my crap. And
I put him on the spot, guys.
Your sister, and he loves her. He loves his sister, Daisy.
He's going, ugh. We have to love our siblings. You know why?
Yes.
We would be extremely bored without them. I have younger ones myself, and I love to torture my younger siblings. And we have one more question out there. I am in the state of Alabama. I'm actually in North Alabama. Redstone Arsenal area is actually where I'm at. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate it. And make sure you keep plugging me to every one of those videos that you're making, Luke. He has some excellent videos, guys. If you haven't joined my community, I have a group on Facebook called Inside America's Pool Rooms. And I also have a group for the juniors. It's called Billiard Talk Juniors Edition. So make sure you guys are joining, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon, Luke. Bye.
See you.
Thanks. Bye.
Well, like I've always said, it takes a community, a village to raise a child, but it takes a village of pool players to raise a junior player. So if you guys are out there and you got some extra change, check out the juniorbilliardscholarshipfund.org. They are out there trying to give back to the community by putting on more tournaments and the only juniors Moscone Cup there is in the U.S. We will be reaching out to Canada pretty soon and having them join us. So you guys stay tuned. We're up to a lot of crazy stuff, and we're having a blast. So from all of us at Inside Pool Magazine, the Junior Billiard Scholarship Fund, and Nick DeLeon, wherever he's at, You guys have a great night. I'm going to go ahead and run that promo video one more time. Kid's amazing. I just love the fact that these junior players are so excited about pool. Because guess what, guys? They're our future. Make sure you're supporting them. We'll see you next time. This is Tracy, signing out.